would have played at 4:00.
So,
on a Thursday.
But you know who's good at 4:00 on a Thursday?
Who's good at 4:00 on a Thursday?
Not nearly as good as the guy who is great at 3:11 on a Friday, but we'll take him any day of the week. None other than Jaire Nagler of Cheesehead TV. Nags, what's going on, brother man?
Gentlemen, happy Friday, which is really a Thursday in the Packers world as they practice up and get ready for this trip to New York. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're just asking. It seems like the biggest question is Christian Watson's hamstring.
Yeah, he ain't going to go on Monday. I mean,
sure doesn't seem like it.
I don't know if anybody is still holding out hope, but I'd be shocked if he already said yesterday in the locker room, probably not. So
even Matt said probably not.
Really, right? But although what was the initial NFL Network report? I love this numbing. More okay than not. That was the initial kind of report from Ian Rappaport on Monday, which I found hilarious. More okay. He's more okay than not. He just won't be ready to go on Monday.
How would you describe KB? Well, he's more okay than not.
He's more okay than not.
He has his moments, but our conversations with Jaire Nagler are presented by Miller Lite Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference, and Rodgers Behavioral Health. Okay, what's the question number 2? If that's asked and answered, my number 2 question concerning the Packers right now is what's going on with Jaire? Did you watch the interview at his locker?
Yeah, that's.
I saw snips on the old social media there, and he's vibing. He's feeling himself. Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, yes and no.
It's odd.
It's Jaire. What else is new?
He always has swag, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's just our impulse being the Midwesterners that we are, that you dial back the swag when you're not available. And
that is a big part of it.
You can't make the club in the tub.
Right.
And when you have not been available to play and you're still vibing, it makes us wonder, well, what frequency is your tuning fork vibrating at?
Yeah, but this is, I always say this though, what are they supposed to do if you're injured, right? And he has been, and he's been dealing with 2 things, right? He had the back and then he had the shoulder, right?
Yes.
But clearly he's not the one making the determination. He is involved in the conversation about whether or not he can go, but ultimately it is Flea and the medical staff who are making that determination, are giving the go-ahead, right? So if he's in a point where, okay, he's out there practicing, he did all last week in a limited capacity. He's practiced twice this week in a limited capacity. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing what's asked of him. Nothing wrong with vibing. Nothing wrong with answering questions in your sunglasses and chilling out on a fine Friday afternoon. Maybe he's going someplace tonight. Maybe he's got a hot date. I don't know. I got no problem with it.
Green Bay?
I'm not saying that you're saying it, but the man is his own. He marches to his own drum, and I got no problem with that. Now, I'd love to get him out on the field on Monday. I'd love to get him back on the field, period. But, I don't have any problem with how he addresses the media. That's zero. I have zero problem with that.
No, it just seems weird, doesn't it? Will you be
but
surprised?
When has Jaire seemed normal? That's what I love about him.
This seems like though there's something maybe between the club and the player in some way or.
I think that's your old school reporter hat being worn.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
Spidey sense.
Searching for a story. There's a story here, guys. I tell you.
I'm telling
you. That's you.
Get me rewrite.
Exactly. Page 1, stat. Or wait,
and he's doing this stuff at his locker.
Stat, I think, is hard. Give me the paddles.
Sorry. I mixed up my metaphors there.
Yeah,
there we go.
But the thing is, though, he's who's he sending a message to with these, Bono glasses, the fly and stuff? Who's he?
They're not even Bono glasses. You got your 90s rockers mixed up because those are clearly Kurt Cobain glasses.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Come on, Drew. Come on.
That's
and
good.
Here's the other part. I bet he doesn't even know who Kurt Cobain and Bono are. He's just doing his thing.
He's doing his thing.
There's nothing wrong with that.
All right. Well, the Packers are going to do their thing. And my theory of the case is, as important as Christian Watson is, that they should be fine without him, especially against the Giants.
Well, and that's the danger, right? Oh, it's just the Giants. And, hey, it was just the Giants in London last year. You know what I mean? This is a team that, for whatever problems they're having this year, which are multiple, it's a staff that put together a really good game plan last year in London that whooped up on Matt and company pretty good, And I'm not saying like it shouldn't be a game that you expect the Packers to win, because you most certainly do. I mean, Vegas does. What are they, 6.5-point favorites?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a sharp about face from the last couple of weeks where we've gone into these games 6-point favorite, or 6-point dogs and 8.5-point dogs the last two games. Now suddenly they're favored. To me, that's what this game is about, right? How do the Packers handle success? How do they handle with the new expectations thrust upon them? I mean, they've had a pretty damn good run here these last two games in front of a national audience, pretty much controlling both of those contests. Now they're going to be on national television for a third time. Now this time against a team that most people expect them to kind of run away from. You know what I mean? So, yeah, to me, this is going to be very telling as to who this team really is. Because, look, if you go up to this point of this season, they've pretty much played to their competition throughout. They've lost to some bad teams that they should have beaten, and they've come up and shown up and beaten up some teams people said were much better than them, and everyone expected them to get blown out, and lo and behold, they did not do that. So I think if they take care of business against the Giants, then we can really start thinking about a playoff run. But I'm telling you, and I said this on Monday, and you acted surprised, and I still feel the exact same way 5 days later. If they go into New York on Monday night and kill the Giants, awesome, dope. If they come in on Monday night and are like slipping on banana peels and revert back to like October form, I will not be surprised at all.
Well, that is the duality of Packer fandom these days.
Kinda,
with the expectations
right?
And the shifting of the tectonic plates of the season. I left Lambeau Field on Sunday night, Nags, and in order, I think, to be a Drew and KB smart and good-looking listener, need the ability to hold two opposing thoughts in your head at the same time.
At the same time, yes.
I walked out of Lambeau Field saying, this team not only could make the playoffs, they should make the playoffs, and I could see them winning a game in the playoffs. And at the same time, I said to myself, and I could see them losing on Monday night.
Absolutely.
I'm 100%.
Well, both are true.
They're just so young. They're such a young team, and I know everyone's sick of hearing about it, but it's the truth. I don't think their youth was ever more like kind of thrown a spotlight onto than Valentine running up the sideline with the ball, like the entire sideline telling him to get down with that fumble, that ended up not, counting. But it's like, dude, just fall on the ground and the game is over. But like, he's young, he's happy, he's like making a big play, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's a very young team, man. And as much as that serves them at times, it can certainly hurt you as well.
I'm not looking forward to the playoffs at all. I'm looking forward to next year. I think we're seeing some great things. Whatever happens this year, we didn't have high expectations necessarily, but next year it's going to be much different, I believe.
I agree with that. I think the biggest question mark this year was Jordan Love, and we're close to answering that question. I think it's pretty clear he's headed in the right direction, right? And I think there's a decent chance if he keeps playing like he has been over the course of the last month, the Packers will probably extend his contract this offseason. We got a ways to go, obviously, until we get there, but it's certainly trending in the right direction. And, for everything else, whether it's the young wide receivers, whether it's the youth you acquired on defense in the draft and trying to bring them along, the number one question in 2023 was Jordan Love. And like I said, we're pretty close to getting that answered.
That was number one question. That was number 1 through 15 on the list of the top 30 things facing the Packers. Was Jordan Love?
Pretty much. I mean, really. I mean,
And
who is he? How can he play? What kind of positions can he be put in and succeed? What's tough for him? Where does he shine? Where does he really struggle? And I think we've seen all of it this year. And now he's really starting to put it together on a top flight level. I don't think anybody should be under any illusions that he's never going to struggle again. There are going to be games, there are going to be teams that are going to give him problems, and there are going to be stretches where it's really frustrating still. And I'm so excited to see how well he's playing, but I just hope fans understand, like, it ain't over and it ain't a finished work yet,
Yeah. And you made the case earlier this week that the stats are strikingly similar between him and Aaron's first year as a starter. Now, Aaron's first game as a starter, if I recall, was at home in prime time against the Vikings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if he had 3 kind of national primetime hits in a row as
not
Jordan
like that.
Love
Not like
about
this.
to.
No. Definitely not when he was slinging it the way Jordan's been too. I mean,
because
both of them
Thanksgiving,
had their
Sunday night
struggles.
football, Monday night football, and back-to-back weeks
That's a
is
decent stretch of introducing yourself to the country after, I think the last time, what was it, that Monday Nighter in Vegas, which is a game I'm sure most Packers fans and Jordan Love would probably like to forget, but that was kind of a cementing moment early in the season. I mean, I'm still getting texts from people like, remember how horrible he looked against the Raiders? And now, I mean, because now he's just lights out, 3 touchdowns a game, no interceptions. Again, it's trending in the right way. Definitely. No question about it. Very exciting, but it ain't done yet.
I put out the call for questions, Nags, for this segment of the program, and amazingly, or maybe not, like the preponderance of them are asking whether Aaron Rodgers is going to be at the game, or what are the chances, as Sam in Hartford said, that Cobb, Lazard, and Amos will be in a suite. And he laughs at that. But why are people so obsessed with the ex-Packers coming to dap up guys on the sideline when that's not really a thing in the NFL? Like,
no, it's not. But, I mean, look, we spent all summer being regaled of tales of Aaron Rodgers going to every sporting event known to man in Manhattan. This one is in the stadium where he played for 4 downs and his team plays. So I understand the interest. I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers is a very important part of the Green Bay Packers. And I have zero doubt that fans are still kind of very interested in what Aaron has to say. I know I am at times. It depends on the subject. But, I understand the fascination. He was a very, very, very important piece of Packers history. So
yeah, but there's no way he's going to that game.
I sure wouldn't.
How hilarious would it be if he did, though?
I just can't see it.
I don't either. But it'd be funny. It'd be very funny.
Because, and then he's going to be on McAfee the next day talking about it.
I know, exactly.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Time.
A couple more thoughts from Aaron Nagler. Our conversation is presented by Miller Lite Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference in Rodgers' behavioral health. Okay, so we don't have, some of the questions are being answered in real time. And Carrington Valentine, we loved him in camp. Mm-hmm. And then he, got caught with his rookie showing a couple times, but now he's starting to come on again. And we remember that he's a good player and he's going to be here for a while. Right. All that. Who's emerged? Who's opening eyes right now? Because I have my eyes on Tucker Kraft for that spot because of opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, look, Corey and I were talking about this on our show last night at Cheesehead TV. Earlier this season, I think we had a Q&A with fans, and somebody asked what was the worst position group on the Packers at the moment. I think this was late October, and we both instantly said tight end, not even a question. And I'm telling you, man, Tucker Kraft has really answered the bell when they desperately needed him to, and it's the timing could not be better because earlier this season, I mean, hell, you go back to training camp, he looked lost, right? And then even the kind of few opportunities he got earlier this year did not look good, did not look up to snuff, but he has kept at it and progressed, and now just, I guess, perfectly timed with Musgrave's injury, he has been thrust into a pretty significant role, and he is answering the bell in a big, big way. And it's not just, the job when they ask you to go out and catch that pass on the flat and then make a guy miss and blah, 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 which he has done. But it's some of the dirty work, too, the stuff in line, more traditional tight end stuff and going across formation and hitting that defensive end in a run play. Things that were, I'm not going to say embarrassing, but they were hard to watch earlier this season. He has gotten much, much better at it, and that's a testament to him, man, because clearly he's put in the work. So, yeah, I think he's an exciting guy to watch, and he's starting to put it together at just the right time.
Is he the Matt Flynn that could pass up Brian Brom? Oh, wait, that's unfair to ask right now because of where they were drafted.
I mean, Musgrave's got a lacerated, kidney, spleen, something? Let's let that guy get back on the field.
Opportunity, you know what? I'm just saying.
You got him Wally pipped already. My goodness.
They're gonna work both of them in, and it's.
Here's the difference. Here's the big difference: is they didn't spend all offseason working on packages for Tucker Kraft. They have certainly drawn up a play or two for him throughout this stretch now since Musgrave's been down. But, man, you remember this summer at camp, they had whole packages just for Musgrave. His speed is just undefensible.
For him to trip over his feet.
I know. Well, that's the frustrating part, right? Finally got him in the end zone against in Lambeau a couple weeks ago. But
the other guy, Nags, who's opening my eyes, and we met him at Shields, terrific dude. It's obvious that Lucas Van Ness is kind of on the Kenny Clark and the Rashawn Gary slow
rookie plan.
Rookie plan, right?
Although he got more snaps against the Chiefs. He was definitely in the mix a little bit.
He did, but the guy who's opened my eyes is Carl Brooks. He's been a force. He's been he's
love
putting
Carl
up
Brooks.
statistically and he's a fine fellow. We talked to him at Shields. He's a really nice guy,
Charming guy.
charming fellow. The other KB, Carl Brooks, and like he comes in with no expectations and but he's just quietly putting together a season that makes you go, wow, he could be a part of something. What do you see with him?
It's interesting because we talked about this a couple weeks ago where he was just down in and down out, one of their best guys up front. Now, I think he's coming off a rookie game against the Chiefs. I think they kind of took advantage of him a little bit. One of those cases where you've got Andy Reid and, an offense designed to take advantage of young guys, and I think they did that at times. I don't think Sunday night was his finest hour, but overall, you look at his body of work, especially day 3 pick, you don't expect much there, and he's come in and been not only productive, but a significant role player and contributor within their system, within kind of their rotation. I think the future is very bright. I'd love to see him, next year after he's been in a kind of weight program for the entirety of the offseason, an NFL weight program. But, man, he is an exciting young guy, and he's certainly shown he's got a good grasp of technique already in a way a lot of guys, when they first come into the league, even like first-rounders, just really don't get right away. He's seemingly way ahead of the curve in that regard. Like just technique, swatting guys' hands off, getting upfield that first step. He's been very, very exciting to watch.
I'm liking him. Anything else we need to talk about before we let you plug the Cheesehead TV gathering that's going to take place?
Sunday night, baby, in New York City, which is so funny because I booked this with Patrick, the owner of Kettle of Fish, like months ago, right? Months ago. And then the Green Bay Packers come in a couple weeks ago, and they're like, hey, we're doing our thing at Kettle of Fish, which is like a half hour before I'm on. So it's like Mark Murphy is my opening act at Kettle of Fish.
That's pretty wild.
Well, I'll make sure to give him the light.
Yeah. So it'll be fun.
It's going too long.
It'll be a good time. The problem is like it's supposed to be like 60 degrees and raining on Sunday. Very, very undecember, very unfootball. But all I know is it's going to be a lot of fun. There are going to be tons of Packers fans there. I've already heard from a ton of our Patreon members, people who are coming from home, like into town for the game. They're going to go to the game. They're going to be a Kettle on Sunday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Very cool. Very cool. Nags, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Nags. Have a good weekend.
And we'll talk to you again. Not Monday. There's no show for us Monday. So
I'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Take care.
Go Pack, go.
Yep. And enjoy Kettle of Fish.